Hi, I'm Janie Donaldson.
And I'm Cindy Walter.
And I'm David Martelli.
Welcome to Quilt Central,
where we celebrate quilting
in everyday living.
Today's show will be on Angel's Wings. Joyce Drexler shows us how to dress up your quilt with beautiful embroidered angels. Cindy Casciato shares cute fabric designed by children. Marinda Stewart will create dolls using recycled materials. Cynthia Scott will make this lovely angel pillow. And Dave shares another tool tip with Tool School. This is Quilt Central.
Quilt Central is made possible in part by Jacquard Products, committed to meeting the needs of artists. Janome America. Janome, because you simply love to sew. Fairfield Processing Corporation. We care for your quilts. A1 Quilting Machines. A1 Precision Quilting Machines. Ulfa, the original rotary cutting system. Sulky of America, makers of decorative threads, stabilizers, books, and iron-on transfer pins. Welcome to Quilt Central, celebrating quilting in everyday living with your hosts Janie Donaldson, Cindy Walter, and David Martelli.
I always love our next guest because she brings such beautiful projects, and you'll recognize Joyce Drexler. Hi, Joyce.
Hi, Cindy. It's great to be with you, and I'm all ready for Christmas with these embroidered Christmas quilts.
I see the beautiful angels. What a great way to use your embroidery machine.
Oh, I designed these angels for embroidery in two different manners. The embroidery card comes with them and filled like a normal embroidery would be, but it also enables you to do the same angels in redwork.
Oh, what a great idea.
So depending on how much you like the person that you're giving this gift to and how much time you have to make it, you can do it in redwork and do it very fast, or you can do it a little slower by filling in the whole design.
And I have one more point. You don't have to do the redwork by hand.
That's exactly it. And it comes out perfect every time.
Yeah, right.
Now, traditionally, redwork would be done with a cotton thread that's solid like this.
Right.
But we have a different type of thread. It's in the second row there on the top.
Oh, this red one?
Yes.
Okay.
This thread has blended reds in it.
Oh,
from lighter to darker.
Okay.
And that's what enables us to do this type of design. Okay. So I did them a little far side from tradition. I didn't just do straight stitching. I added a little satin stitch in there as well to give it a little more punch. Mm-hmm. But I think it's very interesting to have that type of look. It's so different than everybody else's.
Yeah. What weight of thread would you use for that?
These are digitized for 30 weight cotton thread. Okay. So you can do it traditionally with the 30 weight like this, or you can use the blended type of thread in the 30 weight. And in the bobbin, you can use just a regular bobbin thread when you're doing your embroidery. And what I'd like to discuss is how you set up your embroidery for these different pieces. I brought a sweater because so many people like to do things to wear too. And to do this particular piece, what I did was I embroidered it directly on a stabilizer. Oh. Now this is 2 layers of a very soft and sheer type of stabilizer that allows you to have the firmness you need for the embroidery process, but it also is very easily cut away and then burned away any little edges. So you can make your own type of appliques of thread, basically, is what you're making.
So it's one of those patches almost, and you're going to then apply it onto your sweater or anything that's real stretchy that you can't
Then
sew
you
on.
don't have to worry about, well, that cashmere sweater, I want to put it on, I don't want to ruin it. Yeah. So make your applique separately in case you're a little hesitant about it, and then just simply applique it on either with invisible thread or an accent thread.
I've actually done that on my quilts too, because it's much easier putting the little hoop in without the quilt and just then putting the applique applique onto the quilt afterwards.
And then if you did get a little boo-boo, you don't have to feel so bad about it.
Oh, I did one on my snippet quilt, and I had the flower upside down, so I had to put snippets over that area right there.
We all make
That's
little
a great
boo-boos,
idea.
don't we? Yeah. Well, over here is also a knit shirt, a single knit shirt that a lot of us like to wear, and that one is also done with a 30-weight thread, but using a rayon thread. So you can use the 30-weight rayon or the 30-weight cotton, whichever you prefer.
Yeah, they all look great.
So Cindy, I have one more tip for you. When you're working with the redwork kind of designs that are very delicate, it's best to stabilize those with a water-soluble stabilizer, one that will wash away. There is one that's very stable, which is paper coated, but the paper actually dissolves in water when you're done, because you don't want to put any stress on your design as you're pulling away.
I just had that happen when I used a tearaway. I ripped some stitches, and I had to re-sew an area with my machine, you know.
Yes,
Oh,
and it's so when you have delicate straight stitch work like this, it's really better to use a water-soluble type of stabilizer, and then actually submerge it in water to get rid of any of the residue before you start.
That's a great tip. Good.
And let's get to making our
Oh,
little log
good.
cabin. Here's our first little design, of course, and we have taken a 2-inch strip. Oh, actually, I trimmed these down, I should say that first, to 6 by 7.
Because you have them bigger in the hoop, whatever size.
You
and
have to
trim them
use
down.
a hoop that will utilize a 5 by 7 design.
Okay.
And then that way you're using a bigger piece of fabric to begin with, and then you're going to trim them all down to the same size to make the blocks.
Okay.
Okay? So that's a 6 by 7 that we've trimmed it down. We've added a 2-inch strip. And we've done a 1/4-inch seam allowance, and then we're going to press it away and press each time as we add the strips to it. And here it's just adding the next strip, which is over here. That would be flipped, and you would just flip it.
And anything from their scrap bag. Perfect.
Anything from their scrap bag, or if they want to make it coordinated, that's fine too. And here you can see we've just added the strips as we go around, making the block as large as you might want it to be. That's up to you. I stopped where I had 2 strips of each around, so that I wasn't going to make anything bigger than a throw quilt.
Okay.
But if you wanted to make it larger, you could.
And I notice on this pillow right here, you have lots of strips going out.
Yes.
So you could keep stripping as
And
long as you
stripping is-
want it until
exactly.
for anything you needed. Great.
Right,
Okay.
and I wanted to have that as an accent pillow by my fireplace. So.
Oh, great.
I thought that would be nice. Then here I have one with the embroidered design inside, and all you're going to do is take 3 of those. 3 of them, and in between you're going to put a sashing strip, and that's what
Okay.
we've done here.
Okay.
I'll
I want to
just
see
flip
that because
that
you have a
out.
lot of different threads in here that are really remarkable.
Yes, in the design itself, there is a type of itoloshimmer metallic thread, and this thread is very reflective, and it's very strong thread too, because it's got several layers of coating on it to give it this reflective ability. And when you use this thread, Cindy, it's very important that you put it on a vertical spool pin rather than horizontally, because the thread needs to peel off the spool rather than being twisted off.
Okay.
You'll have it break if you put it on the other way. Also, a good tip is to use a top stitch 14 or a 90 needle.
Okay, bigger needle.
The bigger eye is the top stitch eye. It'll let it go through lickety-split and not have any problems. And also, I find that on some machines, I may have to lower the top tension slightly. But you'll do your test one first to find out if you need to do that.
I used a similar one, not this brand, but I used a similar one, and I had a hard time with it breaking. So
You did?
I think I didn't have it vertical.
Well,
So-
that's important. You
Yeah.
need to think about how to use the thread correctly.
Okay.
So I've put a
Oh wait, couple more threads quickly. But
okay.
this is a rayon.
This is rayon, and all these designs are digitized for 40-weight rayon, as
Beautiful.
well as the metallic. And this is just the same type as the white one that you saw, only it's gold.
This project really is about thread. I think the thread
is.
makes it gorgeous.
The thread is
Just-
what makes
it's
the
so
quilt.
pretty.
It really does. And here again we have more of this thread. And what's interesting about
Ooh, it's
this particular thread is that it will pick up whatever color is put on. You know,
Very
there it
pretty.
was white, here it's a
Yeah.
greenish color because it's going over the green fabric.
Wow.
And this is done with a decorative stitch on your machine using the solid gold stitches.
Did you have any problem doing this feather stitch with that decorative thread?
Not Any problem at all.
Same
And what's
thing.
nice is you're just using that seam as your guide.
Yeah, that was one thing I noticed about this quilt that you're starting to quilt, that you don't even have to mark anything on there.
No.
You've just followed the seam. You did a little stipple in here to give that a little relief area. And now here, I love this. I do this a lot. It's fast, just following the motif.
You know, you love that motif so much. That's why you put it in the border.
Yeah.
And why not accent it?
Yeah,
It
that's
just
right.
really makes it pop. And we did add a little accent strip here that was a 1-inch strip that we folded and actually seamed to the sashing.
That's great. And I know you always spray base, because I do too when I'm machine quilting. It's the only way to get it smooth with
It
no
is.
puckers.
It is.
I don't know, we didn't do a good job before. Not like we do now with it anyway.
It's so much easier with everything that's so easy to use.
Yes, thanks again for bringing this really, really beautiful project.
Oh,
and I look
thank
forward
you.
to seeing you again. Well, speaking of angels, let's see a different type of angel, a charity that saves the children.
Today we have with us Cindy Casciato. Welcome, Cindy.
Thank you, Janie. I'm so glad to be here today.
Well, you've brought with you a wonderful project, and we'd like to share this with everyone.
Well, thanks so much. What I'd love to talk about today is Save the Children organization. They're a nonprofit global organization. They do community-based programs in impoverished areas, and especially in the United States. And they really focus on literacy and nutrition and health for young people. And the fabrics that I brought today have actually been designed by children in their programs.
They're wonderful
So they're just
fabrics.
really, really cute. All the drawings have been done by these children, and they're bright, they're colorful, and they're fun to work with.
They look easy to work with.
Yes, and the nice thing is that there's a wonderful partnership going on with Joann's Stores and Save the Children. And what they've done in producing these fabrics is give a sizable donation to the organization.
Oh.
So it's really going to be a good benefit for a lot of children out there and help them to get more programs going. And I brought a fun project with us today to show you where we're going to combine fleece and these wonderful fabrics, because there's a lot of times when you need to make a quick quilt for a charity organization and you want to do a quick project. So I brought a really fast project. We're going to save a lot of time using the fleece as our backing and substitute that as the batting as well.
You can identify these projects, I see, with the Save the Children collection.
Yes.
Right along the edge here, especially exclusively for Joann's Stores.
And you've got the name of the child right on the fabric that actually designed it.
That's
So it's
wonderful.
really cute.
The
And
age I see was on that one, age 12.
Yes,
So
they're all different ages. Each one of them has made
Right.
something.
And I understand to find these too, there's a link on the Quilt Central TV website.
Yes, there is.
And if you get involved in this, then you get one of these medallions.
Yes, you do. We're doing a challenge. And you can find out all the details on the Quilt Central website.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
And this project that you're doing is a sample of how they can...
Yes, this is a sample of an easy project they can do. They can do any pattern that they want, but this is a fun one. It's a traditional pattern, your attic windows, but we've shortened it up a little bit by making this a strip-friendly project. And you can see here that we've sewn these two pieces into a strip panel and cut them. And then we've added the strip along the side and a half square triangle to create our attic windows.
Everything is so playful and
that
so
cute?
colorful. And
Yeah.
you have brought a completed project. too.
Yes, I have. I brought a completed project, and again, that pattern will be on the Quilt Central website.
Oh, that's great.
Yes.
That's great.
And I really like using this 505 spray. This is great on to put the
Yeah, it's like a tacky
pattern down.
sticky.
Exactly. So
I think
it's fast and easy.
Thank you, Cindy, so much for bringing us this project. And I hope you will all be encouraged to use these Save the Children fabrics and make a child a quilt.
Our email question of the day comes from Angela Queen from Miami, Florida. My mat has groove and lint sticks in it. What is your method on keeping your mat healthy? Bada boom, bada bing. Quilt Central's new mat's a beauty queen. Remember, this is a high-grade industrial mat. It also is great for self-healing. So no lint, no grooves, and remember, it's all about the tools.
Join me in welcoming our guest today, and you all know her, Marinda Stewart. Hi,
Cindy,
Marinda.
good to see you.
I understand you're going to show us some clever ways to make a doll.
Well, I don't know how clever it is, but we're going to recycle things.
Oh, I love that.
Quilters hate to waste anything,
That's
and this is a
right.
perfect opportunity to save all those little tag-ins and tailings from all of your projects.
I love that.
I've become very discriminating in the trash I choose to keep.
Well, me too. With snippets, I save every bit of fabric.
Exactly. Well, this is smaller than snippets.
Okay.
So first of all, you start with a pattern. In this case, my pattern pieces are cut out. And what you're going to use for this doll is clear plastic, a lightweight clear plastic. And you can get this in a fabric store. Sometimes you can even get it in a hardware store because people buy this by the yard to put over like their picnic table or something.
Well, let me take a look though first. So you're saying the doll itself is made from
That particular
clear...
one is made out of tulle. The one on the bench is made out of clear
She's made out of
plastic.
clear plastic,
It's
okay.
just called what you see is what you get.
Oh, that's cute. So here's her body part.
So here's her body part. So you have your plastic. You need a broad tip marking pen because otherwise you are going to drive yourself crazy trying to see.
Okay.
So you're going to trace around.
You don't have to be so precise, right?
No, you don't, because actually this is all going to get trimmed off here when we finish the pattern piece.
Okay.
But this way you can see that you've got your body part.
Okay.
So, and you're going to cut 2 for each arm and 2 for each leg and 2 for the body.
Okay. And so you
So-
just double that over right now? Okay.
Now, the problem with plastic, if you've never sewn with it, is that it has a tendency to stick in your sewing machine.
Right.
It sticks with the feed dog and it also sticks with the presser
And to
foot.
each other, each piece, right?
So to solve that problem without having to have an additional thing like a Teflon sewing foot or a roller foot or one of those things, I have lightweight sandwich paper, and I've put my pattern piece in between the sandwich paper
Oh, clever
and
idea.
stitched it. And because it's lightweight, you can see clearly the outline that I've made with the blue marker.
Great idea.
Then, what I have found, because tearing away paper can be problematic, is I take an awl, I guess, A-W-L, and I just gently trace along my thread, and it breaks the tension.
Oh, I see. It loosens the paper.
It loosens the paper and breaks the tension.
I
so it
noticed
just
too that
folds
you
right off.
stitch inside the blue line, so
You
you'll
stitch
be
inside
able
the
to
blue
cut
line.
that away.
See, so that trims away very easily.
Okay.
So I've done that on both sides, and then you have to open it and begin stuffing.
Oh, that looks like the fun part.
And actually what I would recommend before stuffing, I left it this way on purpose because it's so hard to see on camera, but what I would do before I started stuffing is I would pinking scissor.
Oh, cute.
And I would trim off all the blue edge with a pinking shear
Okay.
so that I have a decorative edge. And this is all stitched on the outside so there is no turning. So that makes it a lot easier. I would hate to think what it might be like to try to turn vinyl. So I have taken some.
It's hard to even get these two
I know.
pieces apart. Yeah.
I know. It's like a tiny version that'll drive you crazy of a shopping bag or a grocery bag.
Right.
I mean the trash bags. So in my dolls, I like to have the toes and the hands and the head stuffed with just regular polyester stuffing.
Okay.
And that way it sort of looks like what they're stuffed with is their garment. And for my garment, I make a soup, and I've used decorative sequins and polyester pellets and beads and threads from my sewing projects.
I see too, you've saved all your scraps
yes,
of threads and you
I
just
do.
chop them up. What a great idea.
And I've been known to pick things up off the street because a bottle cap was crushed interestingly or whatever. I save all the fortunes from fortune cookies. Ticket stubs. These are wonderful things. If you've got a daughter and you want to commemorate her high school year, you can
Oh,
save
what a
all sorts of
wonderful
memorabilia
idea.
from that. Or if a mother's going to have a baby.
What a great
you know,
idea.
this
It
is
really can be a
wonderful-
memorabilia
Yeah, it can be a
quilt.
memorabilia thing.
And
So
on the eyes or face, do you have to decorate anymore, or you could
you
just
don't
leave
have
them
to.
plain?
I tend to like my dolls sort of like an Amish doll, which is out without facial features. I think it's got a certain amount of artistry to it, and also you don't have to make the face.
Well, you certainly could, though, if you wanted to.
could.
You could.
Absolutely you
Well,
could.
thank you for all these great tips. You always have such wonderful ideas. And let's join Janie now with her next guest.
Today we have with us Cynthia Scott, and she's a Janome sewing educator. Welcome, Cynthia.
Hi, Janie. Thank you for having me today.
What project have you brought with you today?
We have a fun pillow, and the theme in keeping with our angel show is love.
Oh.
And we have nice angels on the pillow. We've incorporated designs from 3 sources for this pillow.
For the embroidery.
Yes, for the embroidery. We're using the lettering from our customizer, digitizer 10,000 plus software. We're also using designs from our Angel Design card and our Victorian Rose collection.
So you can combine them.
Yes, you can.
Oh, okay.
Lots of fun. What I've done on my computer is actually opened our Easy Gigahoop software program. Now I've already created the designs in our digitizer software, but I'm combining them in our Easy Gigahoop software. So I have the first 3 letters on our screen, and now I'm going to open our final letter, which is the E. And I bring it in and place it on the in the embroidery design area. And this Gigahoop is quite large. It's 8 by 9 inches, so you can get a lot of embroidery in one hooping. So after I've placed my design and I'm ready to save it to my ATA card, I'm going to save it and put it right into my machine. Correct. Now I've already started the embroidery. I've loaded it and it's ready to go here. So I'm just going to start my embroidery.
Oh, that's so easy. It just tacks off by itself.
Absolutely. So it's laying down an underlay stitch, and it's actually starting with I believe it's the L, as we're sewing the L right now. So while this is sewing, I can just talk about how I constructed the pillow.
Okay.
Right.
How did you go about that?
Well, to make it easier for placement, I've printed out the finished design on clear acetate, and I did it in color, which you can do with our software.
So you could see how you liked it.
Exactly, before you spend the time and effort to sew it all out. So I can use this for my placement. Then I've gone ahead and used the stripe of the fabric.
Oh, because it has a light and a dark stripe in it already.
It does, right. So I used that to help create the flange design.
Oh, how clever. That's easy then, just stitch on the line.
Absolutely. So we go ahead and miter our corners, but on the inside fabric, which we have our love theme on, we add our piping. We have 1 layer of piping, and then we also used a beautiful lace. Right. We could have sewn that on the machine, but this happens to be store-bought. So once the top is constructed, I then quilt it with 2 layers of cotton batting. And it gives that nice decorator feel to the finished product. It makes it nice and beefy. So
How far can you go out with your flange, do you think?
About 3 inches, right, about 3 inches, and create the flange for an 18-inch pillow form.
Yes.
Yes. So after the front is constructed, we do basically the same idea with the back. And what we will do on the back and the front is actually quilt it with invisible thread.
So you'll just outline the design that's already in there.
Correct, and take advantage of the beautiful scroll that's on the fabric, and also in the actual embroidery area also.
Oh, around there, just to kind of stabilize the middle too.
Exactly. We go ahead and insert our zipper with the into the backing.
That's about the easiest way, when it's right down the middle.
Absolutely, right down the middle. Then put our front and our back together, right sides, and sew around the edge. And our final step, after we've turned it inside out, is to create our flange using a decorative stitch. And it dresses up the pillow and adds another element.
Gives it a little stiffness too, to make it a little more of a knife edge on things.
Exactly, exactly. So that's our project.
Oh, and I see you're working really hard at this.
It's so hard, yes.
I know. When it gets to the end and it just stops by itself.
The machine stops by itself and does indicate the next color to thread up, and push the start button. You're off and rolling again.
So you could almost be putting in a load of laundry and come back and check it.
Absolutely. I do that all the time.
Oh, I tell you, that is the most wonderful thing. And then when you go to the angel, after the L is completed, It's still the same software. You don't have to switch over to the other one because
The
you've
desi-
already incorporated it all into one.
The design's loaded in the machine, and it just works its way through the colors for the whole design. So
That is absolutely amazing.
it's fun.
And then who gets this pillow?
I think I'm going to keep it.
I would say it would be a beautiful Valentine's gift too. I think that love is just a wonderful design.
Yes.
You could do it in reds for that holiday.
Yes.
Well, I thank you so much for showing us this project.
Thank you, Janie, very much.
Thank you for watching us today. Join us next time on Quilt Central.
Quilt around the clock. Visit the Quilt Central website at www.quiltcentraltv.com for more information on this program.
Join Janie is hard to say.
Welcome, Cynthia.
Hi, Janie. Thank you for having me today.
Yes, what project have you brought with you?
We have a love piece.
Okay. Here we go.
Quilt Central is made possible in part by Jacquard Products, committed to meeting the needs of artists. Janome America. Janome, because you simply love to sew. Fairfield Processing Corporation. We care for your quilts. A1 Quilting Machines. A1. Precision Quilting Machines. Olfa, the original rotary cutting system. Sulky of America, makers of decorative threads, stabilizers, books, and iron-on transfer pins. We are celebrating quilting in everyday living by offering you the new educational beginner kits. You may call toll-free 1-866-PADUCA or visit www.quiltcentraltv.com.